Huddersfield Giants 52 in a year of disappointment for both the Black and Whites and the Cowbell Army. At least the latter can get a little bit of joy by the end of the season. This was better from the Huddersfield Giants. Connor, Lollahea, Will Price absolutely bang at it in this one for the Huddersfield Giants. As for the Hull FC, well, you could hear the boos, certainly in the latter stages of that second half. It was a contest, 16 points, of course, to 10 in this game. It was an absolute contest. Don't worry about that. They were right in it with Hull FC, but for whatever reason, only known to them and their coach, Tony Smith, it just didn't really pan out. I was really surprised, actually, right from the get-go when I saw the starting lineup for Hull FC. You know, Darnell McIntosh playing at full-back, real head-scratcher, that one. You know, especially when you consider that Davy Litton was the 18th man. I can only think that he was carrying a knock. That's the only thing that I can possibly think of, because, like I say, it just made no sense whatsoever to see that on the day. Very interesting indeed. Of course, what that meant was Harvey Barron coming on the wing. He's been okay when he's come in. Brad Fash playing at in prop. For me, he's a loose forward. He's not big enough to play prop forward. He gives it a good go, Brad Fash. But for me, when you see Brad Fash playing in those prop positions, again, I question that as a starting lineup. The back line, I thought Cervello had a really good knock for Hull FC. Yet again, Cervello, he's had flashes right throughout that campaign. I remember him against Saints early in the season. He has had flashes, Cervello. He had another good game in this one, despite the loss for Hull FC. But like I say, real surprise Davy Litton weren't included. Didn't get the Darnell McIntosh starting at fullback. And of course, Texoy again, decent in terms of ball in hand, but his defence, I mean, that Sebek Hifo try, dearie me, that's not good enough. Again, question marks over Texoy. Where does he sit? Is that where he's going to play next year? Is he going to play standoff? You know, I really don't know. I mean, obviously, that's Jake Truman's position. Are they going to put him in at scrum half? Again, I don't know. All I do know is, again, Hull FC have done their traditional. They have completely fell away at the back end of the season. They've been very, very poor. Over 10,000, I'll say it again, over 10,000 Hull FC fans in that stadium for this game, and they get served up that. And I've got to give the black and white supporters so much credit. You know, year in, year out, they continue to get along to the MKM Stadium. And yet, you know, you hear the chairman coming out at full time, slating the fans for not supporting the team. How can he say that when with 10,000 people go through those turnstiles? And if they go through those turnstiles, I'm sorry, but they have every right to, voice their opinions. I'm not a big fan of booing. Don't get me wrong. I've said that time and time again. I'm not a big fan of booing. But are they allowed to criticise the team? Absolutely they are. You know, we're in a cost of living crisis. They're spending good money to go through the turnstiles. And quite frankly, what has been served up this season from Hull FC has simply not been good enough. And you've got to take that on the chin, whether it be the chairman, the coach, whoever. You've got to take that on the chin, the same way that Ian Watson and all the gang at Huddersfield Giants have got to take it on the chin, because let's be fair, they too have been incredibly poor this season. Yet in this one, they were better, a lot better. Will Price, 2 tries and assists. He looks very good indeed. Nagama with his hat trick. I think Kevin Nagama all season, he can walk off the field with his head held high. He's had a decent campaign as Kevin Nagama. Toy Lollahea, 4 really solid assists from him. Very good on the day. We saw Connor. What did they make of the no-look kick? Don't know. I think showboating when you are where you are in the season, you've had such a dire season, just doesn't sit. I get it. He's playing his former club. Did I like it? Did I not? Well, it's a bit of fun. It's a bit of comedy, but quite frankly, that's, well, let's be honest, that comedy is what you'd call Huddersfield this season, really. They've been so poor, haven't they, throughout the campaign. I really feel for both sets of these fans, it simply hasn't been good enough. Huddersfield probably expected better. At the start of the season, Hull got off to that blistering start, didn't they? With wins over Castleford and against Leeds, where you see where the season's panned out for those two teams. Maybe not as good wins as perhaps, of course, if you remember Castleford, they really allowed them back in the game. But there was a lot of excitement. Texoy at fullback, certainly Jake Clifford. I think since Jake Clifford's decided to move on, his performance levels have dropped, to be expected, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, really, Hull FC got off to a decent start. As for Huddersfield Giants, right from the get-go, there was so much expectation, and the season really hasn't got going for him. It's been a couple of wins, couple of losses, a loss, then a couple of wins, maybe a win. Yeah, it's just been up, down, up, down. At no point have they got any real momentum. They had a little bit of a flurry, of course, in July. I think they got about 4 games on the spin there. And to be fair to them, that started at Catalan. So it was a decent effort from that point, but quite frankly, frankly, too late. They were still in with a chance of a playoff place, a couple of weeks back. But again, like I said in the sheds around Leeds, Huddersfield Giants don't deserve to be in the playoffs this season, and the Cowbell Army will agree with me on that. Quite simply, not good enough. Their recruitment next season, it's going to be interesting. We know there's a few high-level players leaving, with Chris McQueen looking to move on. Owen Trout, of course, expected to move on. We know Will Price is moving on as well. So there's a lot of players that are going out of there. Of course, some players not getting any younger, the likes of Chris Hill. It's going to be very interesting to see what the squad looks like for Huddersfield Giants next year, as well as Hull FC. But quite frankly, in a dead rubber match, you expect better from Hull FC. Quite frankly, they just didn't turn up for this game. Decent first half, second half atrocious. Hull FC 20, Huddersfield Giants 52. Were you at the game? What's your thoughts on your season? Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. That's the end of In the Sheds for round 26. We will be back next week for round 27. Bye for now.